Hello everyone, welcome to Texture Myth. In this session, I'll show you how you can use IBM Bob to prepare an analysis document, or you can say analysis report, only for the SQL statements that are utilized in your RPGLE or SQLRPGLE program. Okay, so we all know that to store the SQL statement we need a SQLRPGLE program, right? So this is a demo program which we are going to use. The name of the program is also SQL demo, which contains around 10 exec statement, and then we have some sub statement as well. So around 13-14 statements are there in the overall program. So what we will do, like we will feed this program to IBM Bob, and then I will ask IBM Bob to generate an analysis report for all the SQL statements that are being used inside the program SQL demo. Okay. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand how to write a master prompt, what all things we need to mention there, and what would be the output once IBM Bob perform its task. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use IBM Bob for SQL statement analysis, right? But prior to that, we have already covered many other important scenarios where we used IBM Bob, right? So that you can also refer, and for it you can also refer the Texture Myth digital course book, which is freely available in the description box for all of you. So you can simply go and check out that digital course book. There you will find 3600 plus sessions available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language issues, you can directly consume the content, and if you have any queries or questions there, you can simply reach out to me through the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your queries there. Okay, alright, so let's get started. Here you can see we have one SQL demo program that contains some source code, and now I'll show you the exact prompt that you can use here. So for that, I'll just paste my prompt here, and you can see it has 8 rules total. So one by one we will see all the things. First thing is we need to mention we need to assign the role to this IBM Bob. So we clearly mention here, you are a certified IBM SQLRPGLE expert with 20 plus years of experience on IBM AS400. Okay, you strictly follow IBM DB2 for SQL and ILE RPG standard. So here we just assign the role that you are an expert of IBM DB2 SQL, and you strictly follow the IBM DB2 for SQL and ILE RPG standards, so that it will refer that. Okay, and then I will give you an SQLRPGLE program named as SQL demo that contains embedded SQL, right? So we just mentioned the name, like where it need to start the research, and what it needs to do: analyze every SQL statement strictly as per the IBM DB2 for SQL rules and explain it clearly in plain English. Okay, so we just assign the task that you have to analyze the SQL statement, and you have to follow the rules strictly. Now after that, what all rules it needs to check, that we will specify here. So strict analysis rules contain do not violate. Okay, so rule number 1, identify every SQL statement, find every statement that starts with exec SQL, list them in order they appear in the program, valid SQL statement to look for. So these are the valid statement like SQL select, insert, update, delete, declare, cursor, open, fetch, close, set, call, for. Okay, so these are the some statements I think we can write till here. Or if you don't know anything about this, you can simply skip that part, because this is not mandatory, but it would be great if you can specify these things so that it will go and do the research in the right direction. Okay, then we mention here one line: never miss any exec SQL statement. So it is supposed to look for all exec SQL statement. Okay, then we have rule number 2: for every SQL statement, explain statement type, like what type of statement is this: select, insert, update, delete, cursor. which table or tables are involved. Okay, so which table we are using for the statement, what columns are read or changed, okay, that we need to find out, what where condition is applied, okay, what host variable are used. For host variable we just mentioned one thing, that host variable start with colon in SQL. Okay, then what will this statement do in plain English, so we need the information in plain English. What is stored in SQL statement, SQL state or SQL code after it is executed. Okay, so this thing we need. Then later on we have rule number 3 for cursor analysis. So for every declare cursor, explain cursor name, what query it runs, is it for read only or for update, what table it reads from, what order records come in order by. Okay, so here we just want to know the order as well. Then we simply mention for every open, explain what it triggers. Okay, so if we are using open statement, what it triggers. For every fetch, explain what field are populated. For every close, explain when it is closed. So these are the important things that we need to check. Then we have rule number 4, host variables. List down every host variable used in the SQL. Variable name with the prefix colon. RPG field it maps to, so if it is mapped with some RPG fields, we need to mention that. Data type and its length. Its input pass value to SQL or output receives value from the SQL. So here we clearly mention about the requirement for the host variable. Then in 5th point I mentioned about the error handling. So check for these error handling method, SQL state checking. Okay, so here I mention SQL state all time 0 is success, SQL code checking SQL code 0 equals to success, SQL code equals to 100 means no data found, less than 0 means error occurred, on error blocks if SQL code checks, if none found then simply mention no error handling found. Okay, so these are the rule number 5 for all error handling scenarios. The next we have is SQL performance. For every SQL or for every select or cursor comment on, is a where clause present there, just to identify the where clause conditions. Is order by present there, is index likely used, any performance concern. Okay, so these things we need to check. At the end we will just tell them like what should be the output and how it should come. So output should come in 8th section, written in the exact structure. Like first section will represent program overview, second section will represent all SQL statement found list. Okay, it should be in list. Then detailed analysis of each SQL, cursor analysis if it any, host variable table, error handling analysis, SQL performance note, and plain English summary. So these are the sections that we need as an output. After that we have rule number 8. Rule number 8 mentioned what it is not supposed to do, like what to never do. Never invent SQL that is not in the program. Never skip any exec SQL statement. Never guess host variable type. Never assume the table structure. Always read SQL state and SQL code uses exactly. Use IBM DB2 for SQL terminology only. So these are the all basic rules that I want that IBM Ops should follow and accordingly generate the output. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just simply press enter here. Within a few seconds it will ask me for the approval of file read. And remember one thing, this is on my local desktop, so I'll just approve it from here. Once I approve it, it will show this I'm working on it, and within a few seconds it will start preparing the complete report, complete analysis report for your SQLRPGLE program, including all the statements that are using SQL, okay, queries or statements. So like this is how like you can easily prepare a complete analysis report, and now you can relate it like how much useful is this for you for your project analysis, correct? Because in projects you can directly run one prompt and then it will walk you through the your code and it will generate the required analysis report. But remember one thing, Doesn't matter which AI model you are using, there might be a chances that it will produce a wrong code, it will produce a wrong information. Okay, so it's always mandatory to review the code, and if there is anything that needs to be changed, change it immediately, and always make sure that whatever statement or whatever code it generated, you have to verify it first. Okay, so make this habit, because now it has saved our time to like we are not creating it from scratch, right? We have everything prepared, we just need to invest that time in reviewing it. Okay, so yeah, these are the all thing that we need to take care. And now you can see it is one by one considering all the skill statement and looking for the required information, and once everything is ready, it will simply generate me a summary as well, as we mentioned regarding the summary. So you can see one by one it is going through all the cursors and whatever we have created here. So let's wait for it, and meanwhile I'll try to show you, but I think it needs to be done first. Yeah, we have got this host variable tables. So you can see it generated the host variable table where it clearly mentioned what is the host variable name and the process. Now it is generating the error handling analysis. So just with a one prompt, it generated all the required stuff. Okay, it shows like where error handling is performed, where values are moved from one place to another. So all kind of things it will consider here. So yeah, I think now this report is ready. It's very long report, so we will not cover all the scenarios. I'll just quickly go through and walk you through some of the sections here. So first section says program overview. Program name is perfect, language, format, author, purpose. It demonstrates embedded SQL operations including select, insert, update, delete, cursor operations, and error handling. Then we have these are the tables that are being used here. Then these are the all SQL statement which are used in order. Then detailed analysis. So SQL statement select single row, line number this. Okay, so this is how it will do a research. But again, I would strongly recommend you that whatever it generated, please make sure to review it, because yes, there might be chances it will produce something wrong. So it's your responsibility to review the thing and make sure that whatever it generated is perfect. Clear? So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching TechShareMath.